Trick horse he had on the stage and his connection with Justice Jackson.
Okay, well tell me about the article you wrote. What did you say?
What did I think?
Yeah, what did you say about him? And
well, I brought a copy of that along, and it just made reference to the fact that he's retired, living in Lakewood, but the main reason I brought it, there's a picture of him on Justice Jackson's horse, Renee Dare.
No kidding.
Which he trained, and I noticed on the wall out here, you have a number of pictures of her, too.
Right.
And I was about 11 years old then, and I rode the horse. My grandfather did the groundwork.
So your grandfather's name was what?
Vern Spencer.
Vern Spencer. Mm-hmm. And how did he connect with the whole horse industry and
Well, just he liked horses, and he lived in Sugar Grove, and he had a reputation of one who could train horses and get a lot out of them, and one thing led to another, and he ended up with a horse that was trained unusually. Mm-hmm. And he was on the stage with that horse, and along the line he met Justice Jackson. He called him Rob, and they got to be real good friends, and then he trained Renee Dare for him, and that was up at the old Lakewood Stock Farm. You're probably too young to remember the Lakewood Stock Farm.
I certainly have had a lot of people talk about it.
It's right across from where the post office is now. Mm-hmm. And that was a hangout for everybody that liked horses. And of course, in that day and age, a lot of people had more contact with horses than they do nowadays.
Sure.
But I grew up with horses and through my grandfather, and I've always liked them. Met my wife through horses, and
really,
yeah. So that was the story. Justice Jackson, when he was still in Frewsburg, mm-hmm. Then he went to as Attorney General, and then he would come home weekends, and we would ride. And Mary, she would ride with us. When he didn't come home, why then we'd go down and pick her up at their house on Fairmount Avenue, mm-hmm. with the big pillars.
Right.
And we'd pick Mary up there and go up and ride. They had 2 riding horses up at the stock farm, and then plus this colt that my grandfather trained.
What were the names of Mary? What would you remember Mary's horse's name?
One was it was a jumper, Happy Days, D-A-Z-E. Mm-hmm. And the other one, as I remember, was named Charlie, S-H-A-R-L-E-Y. But they were pleasure horses.
Pleasure horses.
He wasn't into show horses. He just liked to ride and liked pleasure horses.
Now, would Bill, the son, did he ride at all? Do you remember?
No, I never really knew him.
Right.
Mary was the one that was into horses. And
rides on a weekend, Saturday, Sunday. What was your destination? You mentioned
we would go maybe ride to Sugar Grove and back. Mm-hmm. Those back roads up there is where we rode most of the time. I would ride down in the village sometime to where we lived on West Summit, and I would ride down to my house and show my folks the horse and
sure.
So on.
Now would you ride one of Mary's horses when on these rides?
Yeah. I could ride their horse. I never took Renee Dare out. She was kind of special, and my granddad was training her. Mm-hmm. So I never took her out on the road unless they were along. Right. And then the article points out here when he was in Germany, nobody else was on Renee's back.
Is that right?
He didn't allow anyone else to ride her after we had her trained, and he took her to Virginia. He was the only one who rode her.
So after you got back from Nuremberg, is that when the Rinty was shipped to Virginia?
Yes, as I remember, that's when she was sent down there.
Yeah, and the horses would be saddled up. I assume Justice Jackson would not be saddling the horses.
Oh no, he took part in all that.
Did he?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it was a place for him to let his hair down from the rigors of Washington.
Right.
You know, he would come there and forget all his problems in Washington and all he had to think about, and just enjoy himself. And of course, he had a great love for horses.
Oh, sure. Did he curry the horses? Did you see all that?
Oh yeah, he would brush, and he'd take part in it. You didn't have to treat him with kid gloves at all. He was part of the gang when he was up there.
Do you remember any specific anecdotes or incidents with Jackson and you and your grandfather?
Oh, not really. When Renee Dare was a colt, my grandfather started training her when she was 18 months old, which is very young to start a colt. And she was too young for an adult to ride her. So when we started training her, I did the riding. I was, I think, 10 or 11 years old then. I did the riding, and my granddad did the groundwork.
Party that would go for the ride, you know?
Well, there would just be probably Mary and he and my granddad and I. They had a little pony that I rode a lot up there named Buster, the little spotted pony, and that was theirs. And I used to ride, I was a little kid then, and I rode Buster a lot.
Again, I'm thinking English. Did he have an English riding outfit, or was he pretty casual in his
No, he'd
attire?
usually wear jodhpurs, riding pants and boots, riding boots. Otherwise, it was just casual.
Yeah. Did Mary have the wonderful black hat and all that?
I don't remember that. I don't remember that. She was pretty casual.